Today, we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea for finding some peace in this crazy world. And it's a philosophy that was born, believe it or not, in chains. From a man who figured out how to be free while he was literally owned by another person.
I mean, think about it. The news, your job, what people are saying about you online, it's just constant, right? It feels like you're just getting thrown around by things that are way, way bigger than you are.
And this is what's so wild about this whole story. The key to dealing with modern anxiety doesn't come from some tech billionaire or a self-help book. Nope. It comes from a guy who, on paper, had absolutely zero control over his own life.
So, let's meet him. Our guide for this journey is the philosopher Epictetus. And honestly, his personal story is just as powerful as any of his ideas. Maybe even more so.
I mean, look at this life. Epictetus started at the very bottom, born a slave. He was treated like property, but he eventually got his freedom only to be kicked out of Rome by a paranoid emperor. And yet, through all of that, he founded a school that became famous. This stuff wasn't just theory for him, it was a survival guide forged in the fire.
And get this, like Socrates, Epictetus never actually wrote a single word down. Everything we know about his teachings comes from one of his students, a guy named Artrian, who basically just followed him around and wrote down everything he said. He knew he was hearing something that just could not be lost to history.
Okay, so let's get to the heart of it. His entire philosophy really boils down to one single powerful idea that changes how you see everything.
And here it is. This is the master key. It's called the dichotomy of control. Epictetus basically said our number one job in life is to draw a very, very clear line in the sand between the things we can control and the things we can't. He believed that almost all our anger, our fear, and our frustration comes from getting these two categories mixed up. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. So look at the left column. Our opinions, our desires, our judgments. This is our inner world. This is our kingdom. It's the only thing we have total control over. Now look at the right. Our body, our stuff, our reputation, what other people do. We can influence these things, sure, but we don't control them. And trying to is, according to Epictetus, the fastest way to make yourself miserable. And this is the payoff. When you really get this, like deep in your bones, you become free. Because if your happiness only depends on what's in your power, your own choices, your own character, then nobody and nothing can ever really touch you. You become, in a way, invincible.
All right, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually, use this in real life? Well, Epictetus was all about practical advice. He gave his students actual rules to live by. I love this analogy. He says to think about your desires like you're at a big dinner party. You don't just grab for a dish that's on the other side of the table, right? You wait patiently for it to come to you. And if it doesn't, oh well, you enjoy what's on your plate. He says we should treat everything we want in life with that same kind of patient dignity. No desperate grabbing. Here's another amazing one. Life is a play. You don't get to choose your role. You don't choose your family, where you were born, or the problems you're going to face. Your only job, the only thing in your control, is to play the part you've been given as well as you possibly can. That's it. That's where honor and excellence are found.
And these tips, they come from a book called The Enchiridion, which literally just means the manual or the handbook. It was designed to be a little field guide for living a good life, something you could carry around with you.
So let's pull 3 rules right from that handbook. First, how to handle insults. Someone says something nasty, just remember, that's their judgment, their perception. It's their problem, not yours. Second, how to face loss. This one's tough. He says never to think, I have lost something, but I have given it back. Your loved ones, your possessions, they were always just on loan from the universe. And third, who to blame. A total beginner blames other people. Someone who started learning blames themselves. But a wise person, they blame no one.
So, what would a person look like who has completely mastered this philosophy? Epictetus actually painted a picture of this ideal Stoic, and fair warning, it is a pretty radical vision.
Yeah, this is the goal. This is the perfect Stoic. Someone so detached from external things, like a house or a family, that they can focus 100% on their duty. They look at people who hurt them, not with anger, but with pity, because those people are just confused about what's good. In fact, he says that if you're beaten, you must love the person who's beating you. It's a superhuman standard, really, meant to show you just how far this path can take you.
But, and this is so important, this is not about becoming an emotionless robot.
That's the biggest misconception about Stoicism. It's about re-engineering your emotions so they're based on reason. The goal isn't to feel nothing. The goal is to feel tranquility, a deep, unshakable peace, no matter what's happening around you.
So you do all this work, all this mental discipline and training. What's the prize? What's the big reward for living this way?
The promise is nothing less than real freedom. Not freedom from problems, but freedom in the middle of problems. It's the ability to have what Epictetus called a tranquil flow of life, to be tough, to be resilient, and to find peace and meaning in literally any situation.
And as he puts it, you're not just fighting for something small here. This isn't about just feeling a little less stressed. You're fighting for a kingdom, for freedom, for tranquility, for peace. You know the only stuff that actually matters?
So we'll end with the big question that Epictetus is really asking all of us. Just imagine for a second, all the time and energy you spend worrying, getting angry, trying to control things you can't. What if you took all of that energy and aimed it at the one thing you can control, being a better person? What could you become then?